Hello, Georgina.
Harry, and welcome to the UK Forest Market Report 2022. Tilhill and Goldcrest have just launched their yearly report, and today we're going to be doing our episode of Timber Talks, and we want to get an update of what's been going on in the market and what do you predict for the future. Please take the microphone.
Thank you, Georgina. So, interesting question as ever, and if we reflect on the 12 months that we've had since the last report was launched, we've really seen the market fall away quite strongly. The signs were there 12 months ago, though we probably couldn't see them. But if we ask ourselves what's happened, and it's really been in response to the end of COVID, and so the consumer has spent money on things other than home improvement over the last period. And then more fundamentally, the war in Ukraine and the resulting energy crisis has really impacted the market substantially. We've seen a strong decline in construction and the associated timber demand that would create. So that's both in sawn timber and panel products, things like chipboard, OSB, MDF. The result of all of that has been that we've seen sawmills in Britain operating at somewhere around 50% to 66%, between a half and 2/3 of capacity in terms of where they would be or where they'd expected to be within their budgets. So timber prices probably have fallen by something in the region of a third, standing timber prices that the grower is going to receive. The one bright spark on the horizon has been the demand from energy, largely driven by what's happening in Europe with the shortage of gas that everyone's well aware of. There's been a lot of biomass plants that have reopened, capacity that had been invested in, but that have been mothballed because the price of the feedstock was too high. With massive increases in energy prices in Europe, that's completely changed that picture, and all of that capacity has been relaunched, as well as all the existing capacity that was there. So we've now got to one of these situations that happens in the market occasionally, where small roundwood is probably worth almost as much as saw logs. And it's a position we expect to continue till the early part of next year, when we anticipate sawn timber demand picking up as stock that's in the system is used up, and the market traditionally picks up to some extent around Easter time. To what extent this happens, difficult to say this far out, but that would be the sort of light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. And thank you for providing your section in the report as well. This can be downloaded online. Was there anything else you want to add that's really important to our audience who want to know about really what's going on? You have told us a little bit, but what about the future? Are we going to have a problem of supply in the future? Are we planting enough trees?
Well, we're not. No, we're not planting enough trees, and it's interesting that every 5 years the State Forestry Service, Forestry Commission, releases a forecast of timber availability over the medium term, and it's very obvious from there that we're not planting enough particularly productive woodland at the moment. So that is a concern that we have over the medium term, and businesses like ours, when they're looking to invest in the future, one of the things that they consider is what the availability of timber be like over the next 10, 20 years. And whilst the shortfall is perhaps not likely to occur over that period, if we look slightly further out, that 25, 30 years, we're likely to see a crunch in terms of supply, which is both bad news for us as a business, but bad news for us as a country, because we're offshoring that demand, and we're then at that point reliant on other actors, some of them who we may have good relationships with, but others, as we've seen with Russia, for example, where we're not going to be able to import from them in the future.
Okay, thank you. So plant more trees.
Plant more trees, indeed.